So where could they actually go from here? Where could they take Jak and Daxter next? Maybe Golemaya returns sooner than we think. Maybe there's like this all-out lurker war. Well, for anyone who has played the sequels, I'm pretty sure they'd all agree that no one saw what it would become. Okay, so despite everyone complaining about that big gate just rewarding you with booting you back to the main menu, Naughty Dog had some well-mad plans for what they wanted to do with Jak and Daxter's follow-up. I think most people didn't realise what they were getting up to hunting down all them pure mad power cells. But I'll admit, I was not expecting it to be a precursor gateway that brings our heroes to a desolate future with a corrupted hierarchy and a war with some big old grey... Oh wait, hang on, it's too early to swear in this video. Big old grey Egypts. Yeah. Jak II came out little over 2 years after the first game, and as you can tell from its box art, it was a pretty drastic shift in tone. Jesus, lad! Quick context. The first game was an adorable wee collectathon where you collected a lot of stuff to go to another place to collect more stuff. The game was a very comfy and a very relaxed experience. It was a fun and innocent game, and a one you didn't have to put too much attention into whilst you were playing it. But this one, well, as you can tell from the cover, Naughty Dog got a little bit naughty themselves with this one, I can tell you that much. Look at them there. They look like they're having mad crack getting chased by the guards. Anyway, yeah, it turns out, if anything, that first Jak and Daxter game, yeah, that was just the calm before the storm, because... Whoa, lad. This game just literally throws our protagonists into a completely alien environment, and yeah, there must have been some form of sensory overload with all this futuristic shit everywhere. Not that it really matters, since this gobshite here captures Jak before he could even get in a word. Ah, the poor lad, but also in fairness, he never spoke.
We've been waiting for you.
Don't worry, Jak! I'll save you before you know it!
What a prick. Jak has been getting tortured for the last 2 years with dark eco experiments by this city's leader, Baron Praxis, to be used as a weapon for war. Thankfully, Daxter eventually does make a rescue attempt on Jak after he was busy being a bug exterminator. Oh, and also, Jak can now talk.
I'm gonna kill Praxis!
Aw, that's cute. And but soon enough, Jak hops on and the two of them get ready for another mad adventure. So yeah, this prison we're trying to escape from is this game's tutorial area / Geyser Rock. Despite the drastic shift that comes from setting the first level in one game on a tiny wee island and this one in a prison where people are getting tortured into literal weapons, the gameplay is exactly the same from the first game, surprisingly. All of them double jumps, high jumps, dives, yeah, they're all here, and Jak even does the exact same animations for that matter. I think the only thing that is actually any different, at the moment anyway, is that when Jak jumps from doing a dive, he does a cool wee looking flip. Oh, and this isn't visual, but in Jak 1 your roll jump could be used as an attack, but in this, it doesn't do fuck all. Unlike the tutorial area from the first game, there's a bunch of guards around here who want to give Jak a good out slap. But don't be too alarmed, they're pretty easy to take out. For now. Anyway, after we manage to get out of the fortress, we're finally free to explore Haven City. But you don't get a moment to breathe as you meet this owl fella with a wee lad.
Hello, strangers. My name is Cor. May I help?
You look like a reasonably smart man. I want information. Where the hell am I?
Sorry. He's new to the whole conversation thing.
So let's talk about the fact that Jak can now talk. As you can tell in the first 2 minutes of the game, it has a noticeably more involved story. You know, for all the decisions that this game made that I know were a bit more divisive, I think this change especially was quite a necessity, especially for the story that Naughty Dog wanted to tell with this game. So yeah, I like this change. It's pretty fucking class. Making Jak himself the forefront of the story does also kind of explain why Daxter's name was removed from the title, or Maybe it's just because Jak II sounded more deadly or edgy or some other shit. Anyway, Jak gets pissed off at these nasty guards and he turns into that monstrous form again. More on this guy later. For now, that owl fucker who's called Core thanks us for saving their asses and tells our heroes about an underground group that's preparing to battle the corrupt Baron and to find someone known as Torn so we can contact the underground's leader, the Shadow. So, off you go, boys. Now we can explore the new hub world, Haven City. Well, part of it anyway. It's a pretty nasty town, I gotta say. Like, Jesus the fuck, this place needs a mop. Over time you'll be seeing more slightly lovely parts of the city, but for now, we're stuck here. The lads meet up with this fella called Torn, and he wants our heroes to prove themselves by climbing this big tower and pulling off a flag. This is a fun wee platforming challenge to get you started. It's very easy and you're very unlikely to die. Anyway, once you get up there, you can get the flag. Woohoo! Now they're part of the underground. Good on them.
Yeah, I guess you guys are in.
Because nothing says let me join your underground group than just destroying a historical landmark. Anyway, we're going to cause a good bit of a ruckus to get that Baron well pissed. This includes fixing the water supply not to have any gunky sewage in it. Which brings us to the pumping station, one of the many non-city locales. It gives you a lovely wee platforming challenge. It's simple and pretty fun. But after this, you go back to the fortress to destroy the Baron's favourite toys. But not before finding out that the guards are having to deal with the metal. Oh fuck, wait, I forgot to mention the metalheads. They're essentially the new lurkers of the land. They're big, grey, and when you whack them, you get a golden gem, which you should always go out of your way to catch. They're really nasty, ugly fuckers, and they're the reason why Haven City takes its security really seriously. So what is the crack here? Why are the guards giving them eco? This is some mad mystery. You expect Horn to know? No, he's useless. But in the next mission, after we deliver some eco, we meet someone a tad bit more useful. Crew. And unlike Torn, he gives us a reward. Yeah, you're seeing what I'm seeing, lads. A fucking gun. And it's pretty gas crack to use. It's called the scatter gun, and as you can see it uses red ammo. Yeah, it's charged by red eco, but you don't have to worry. The technology of the future has made it that people found a way to make red eco not crap by turning it into a fucking shotgun. But at the same time, don't misunderstand me, it obviously does have its limitations, being a close-range weapon, but for a starting one, yeah, it's a pretty good one. Jak II's overall mission structure from this point onwards does take quite a radical change, being able to pick what missions you want to do next. Want to have Torn tell you that you're shit and that you're not good enough to beat the Shadow? Fair enough. Want to help this gang lord cause more mayhem while getting more stuff that can help you blow shit up? Well, my friend, you can do just that.
Kill metalheads? Get toys? Sounds good to me.
Slow down, Jak and a fat man.
The Grand Theft Auto inspiration was pretty obvious. I mean, 3 and Vice City were not out too long at this point. And I don't really blame Naughty Dog going this route. You know, it's what was hot at the time. Jak II's mission structure can be quite unusual for people who haven't played those games. But let's be fucking real. Who hasn't played them? Next, we have to escort Crew's muscle, Sig, through the pumping station to kill some nasty old metalheads for Crew to hang up in his establishment. How nice. As you could probably tell, Jak II becomes noticeably more combat heavy pretty quickly. Escorting, shooting, and even a transformation ability to smack around some metal fuckers. I like how you got Jak back into shape over time just from doing some normal platforming challenges beforehand. They weren't all too much different to what you were doing in the first game. Okay, there was a bit of a tonal shift obviously, but you know, they were pretty much the same thing. But now we're doing what we'll be doing in this game.
Your pieces.
My gun.
Oh.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang, bang.
Shooting, punching, and probably dying a lot if this is your first time playing. This mission isn't too bad either, thankfully. This was actually the mission that was in a PS2 demo I had when I was younger. It was this one and a jetboard mission you do far later in the game. It was timed, so it was near impossible to finish it. Or I could have just been shit. Another feature of Jak II you start to get more usage out of here is Dark Jak. It gives Jak unique combo string instead of the punching, and you can crawl like some mousy fucker as well. You can get pretty powerful moves with it too, called the Dark Bomb and the Dark Blast. You get them from exchanging these glowing gems you found from the metalheads to this precursor statue. Dark Jak does have a bit of a bad rap for not being too useful. I don't think that personally. I do agree it may take a bit more time to charge than what I'd be happy with. You have to kill way more enemies than needs be to have enough of a Dark Eco charge, and when you do use Dark Jak, it doesn't last too long. And if you use either one of those abilities I mentioned, which mind you are extremely powerful, you instantly revert back to green-long haired Jak. So it is very important to combo away for a wee while, but don't get too mad and then do one of those finisher moves before time runs out. Dark Jak has saved my life more times than I'd want to admit, to be honest. So I don't think it's that useless, but the frequency you get to use them? Yeah, that needed a bit of tweaking. I'd say you could even cut down the amount of Dark Eco you need to use them by half or something. My early 2000s edginess will always find Dark Jak cool as feck. It's a shame you can't use a gun as him though. You know something mad? I always thought there was a chance that Daxter could use the gun whilst you were Dark Jak, just because of the fact he's holding it on the cover. I was one dumb fucker. For being such model employees, Crew gives us another weapon mod, the Blaster. It's based off Yellow Eco from the first game, which allowed you to do some good out long-ranged attacks. The Blaster, as you can see, is very similar to the Yellow Eco power-up itself. As you can probably tell just by looking at the gameplay, it is a very, very versatile weapon. It's the one you will be using most of the game. Not only does it give you excellent range, but it also gives you some combo moves you can do by either spinning or punching, and then following it up by blasting away the blaster. You can rapid fire to focus your damage on one enemy, or you can spin about like one mad Egypt and just shoot away, essentially turning Jak into a turret. The spinning one in particular is a favourite for many people who are going, "Oh sure fuck, I'm dying, time to spin and shoot." Anyway, yeah, I love the Blaster. It does make all the other weapons to some extent secondary, but it's good to have a proper reliable all the same. Not long after, we get an opportunity to join a racing team, and we hear a familiar voice.
I'm not interested in any new drivers right now, and I've got work to do.
Did you hear that crackling audio during the cutscenes? Yeah, that's unfortunately a problem that persists in the PS4 version. Yeah, the best way to play this game is still the PS2 original release. I would say the PS3 HD collection, but during one particular cutscene in the game, one character's face is not loaded properly. And it happens during a pretty pivotal moment in the story. Yeah, I know, that's pretty shite, isn't it? The PS4 version I have on here has a lot, and I mean a lot, of issues. Jak II is by far the most screwed over version of all of these re-releases. From a god-awful framerate, which is not as bad if you're playing on the PS5, and as you just heard, crackly audio, which you have to deal with either way. That's pretty crap. Anyway, this familiar voice lets us audition to prove that we're not scrubs with a jetboard course. The jetboard is a hoverboard, and you want to know something pure mad? This thing is so fun to use. You can do tricks, grind away, spin, and make yourself look like one mad piece of lad. I really enjoy trying to beat my own high score to get more precursor orbs. It's proper good fun. Oh, and also, yeah, the precursor orbs are back.
These precursor orbs are worth a lot now. We might find a few hidden around, or get some doing difficult tasks. We'll be able to buy stuff with them.
They're now used to unlock various cheats and extra content, instead of just being a collectible used to trade for the main collectible. Torn finally sees that you're worth the Dan, and gives you the third weapon mod, the Vulcan Fury, which is based off Blue Eco. The one in the first game that you used the most. The one that made you run faster. And how is it translated? It is a minigun. Appropriate, I guess. It's pretty good, but I do prefer the Blaster still. Your mobility does take a hit. You can't do the spin following it up from an uppercut, which I do quite often. Yeah, that's a bit of bollocks. But it is very handy on taking out metalheads who have a shite load of health. AKA, the mission you get it on. We're instructed to protect a historical site in the Dead Town area. It was the area we got the flag before. But the metalheads are not having any of that dying crack happen this time, and they've really brought the tough fellas out here. Anyway, what was that historical site in question?
Is that? No, it couldn't be. That's not...
It's Samos's hut.
But what? How? When? Where? Why?
We're in the future, Dax. This horrible place is our world.
Jesus! That's a proper shock, isn't it? Again, the audio popping is bad enough in this cutscene as well. Naughty Dog, if you are watching this, and I know you are, I think people would appreciate fixing this before doing a remake for a game that's not even 10 years old yet. Anyway, yeah, it's Samus's hut. But that shit isn't even the weird part. We actually reunite with him, but he has no idea who we are. What the fuck? Turns out Samus is originally from the future, and yup, he is the notorious Shadow. Okay, so that's how he doesn't know us. Fair enough. But I do have other questions. I gather that means he must have been the one to seal the Rift Rider and that gate into the precursor door in the first place. But does that also mean he was the one who hidden all 101 power cells across the land? Feckin' hell! Fair play, lad. No wonder you're so cranky all the time.
Holy yakko! What could that be?
Bullshit, you old fucker. You know well what this thing is. This young Samus is all like, let's protect this city, boys. We got a duty and shite. I might have paraphrased it slightly. Speaking of the city, how is it for exploring? Well, by the time you rescue Ashlyn, you've unlocked the entire city, which doesn't take too long, thankfully. There isn't much to do though, unfortunately, other than get chased around for accidentally hitting a guard. Transport is something you do have to get used to pretty fast in this. You can carjack any vehicle you see in the city, and they all have their pros and cons. Basically, the Zoomer is fast, but it gets destroyed very easily. And I mean so easy, like if you just fart on the seat or something. And every other vehicle has more durability, but it's as slow as my upload frequency. You can change your hover height with R2 between low and high. Both have their advantages and disadvantages. For one, you can crash into cars in high mode, and that's obviously bad because, as I've said, if you're in a Zoomer, either the Zoomer goes or both of you go if you have low health. And hitting civilians or guards can make a complete bollocks of your steering, especially during this one story mission here where you have to race this character through rings. The driving controls at times can feel admittedly a wee bit stiff, but at the same time too loose. Somehow. And you have to drive very carefully because these guards don't take shit. If they see you even just picking your nose in front of them, they'll murder you, no question. There are several other challenges throughout the city where you either have to find an orb in a time limit or a vehicle challenge where you have to go through rings. Both can be pretty tricky, and if those boys get pissed off while you're doing them, yeah, you're pretty fucked. But other than those challenges, there ain't much to do in this city. Haven is split in several districts. We have the slums, the port, the city streets, as it's called in the Daxter PSP game, but on the Jak Wiki, it's called the industrial section, which I think works better. The stadium, the big dirty gardens, and last but not least, the bazaar. The bazaar is an interesting one, as it's the place where we meet Onan and one funny looking bird called Pecker. You see, in order for the underground to give the Baron a proper kick, the underground needs some good stopping power. Hence, they're going to try and get this yoke called the Precursor Stone, as it will give them the superpower they'll need in order to completely wipe those metal fuckers off the planet. In order for our heroes to get the stone, they need to go to Mars' tomb. Who the fuck is Mars, since I forgot to mention him until now? He's the founder and first leader of Haven City. And that kid at the start of the game, he's the true heir of Haven City. Until, the Praxis family, just stole his entire heritage. What a gobshite. For the boys to even get into Mars' tomb, we need to get those symbols, or seals. Yep, so more adventuring away. Getting all the seals of Mars takes the span of a few missions. For one of them, we head to this area called The Dig. It's a pretty simple mission, well, for this game anyway. Press these wooden button things and try and clear this absolutely bullshit jump, and voila, you got one of the seals of Mars.
Looks dodgy up there. Don't hurt yourself, Jack.
But lads, we're just getting started. You also gotta go to this one spot at the docks to get the next one. And you know what happens? Death. Just pure, agonizing death. So let's talk about the difficulty. Jak II is notorious for its bullshit. It punishes you severely for failure, as many of the game's hardest missions fully restart you after just a single death. Over time, it will make you save up your ammo and the timing of hitting those red crates to hopefully get a health pickup. Since there's loads of shit shooting at you, at times it can feel like a game of green light, red light, but when you get caught you get shot right up the arse. This mission right here is pretty notorious, but even this one can be cheesed. If you just move faster than the guards can spawn in, you'll be grand. Once you get access to the tomb, which you get from destroying even more public property, you do what is, in my opinion, the best mission in the game. We go to this old ancient place called Mars' Tomb, and we have to prove ourselves worthy to hold the Precursor Stone by completing these tests. This area has some amazing platforming challenges. I'd even go as far as to say to trump all the ones from the first Jak and Daxter. Yes, even Gull and Maya's Citadel. It has such great variety. There's even a segment where you play as Daxter getting chased by a boulder and then a giant spider. Wonderful homage to Naughty Dog's past. This is also the first time in the series where you play as Daxter. That is pretty class. Now we're back as Jak with no Daxter on his shoulder. I like how he still reacts like Daxter's still there and just invisible. You have another wee platforming challenge, and you have to have good eye memory, whatever coordination for this bit where you have to remember all these pink spider things are. Also, you do this wee memorization thing here. This is mad crack. Anyway, after the trials are complete and you reunite with this little wee fucker, you get the grand prize, the precursor stone.
Wow! Let's get the goods.
Boom! Brought me right to the stone.
Ara, you barren prick. After this surprisingly easy boss battle, I say that because there was one beforehand where he was actually quite a bit trickier than this. You fail on getting the stone and everyone and everything is pretty fucked for everyone. The next mission is my next favourite mission. Seriously. Going back to the fortress to rescue your mates. Pretty awesome mission, but a tricky one. But unlike some missions, which I'll be getting to in literally a moment, I think this one is pretty fair with its difficulty. After you rescue everyone, Jak and Daxter have a proper mindfuck, meeting two Samuses cause, you know, time travel. But we all escape. Woo. 10 out of 10 mission. But if we're talking a complete bullshit one, we have the sewer escort mission. Fuck. Yeah, for many people, this right here is where the game ends for them. You gotta escort these 3 losers down the sewer and make sure that they don't die. But unfortunately, their hobby seems to be anything but fucking surviving. The mission is ridiculously long, and if you fail at any point, even at the point where it looks like you got a checkpoint because a cutscene plays, nah, you won't. This mission is quite dirty, lad. I wouldn't find it too bad if it wasn't for that last part with them spider metalheads. They can really screw you over. Word of advice. On that last part, spin and shoot or use Dark Blast. Many people hate escort missions in video games, and if there's ever a game that I think shows the peak example of how not to do one, it's this mission right here. You get a decent reward for beating it though. The final gun mod, the Peacemaker. The same gun Sig was using. It is ridiculously powerful as it uses Dark Eco for ammo, but unfortunately ammo is pretty scarce for it. It's a badass weapon though, all the same. Looks cool as shit. We're near the finale now. After you win an entire racing tournament, only to be told that it was pointless and that you might as well go to the dig to fight Crew because, shocker, turns out that Crew is a bit of a prick.
I love weapons. I love how they look, how they feel, even how they smell. I think you need serious help.
And he's also trying to destroy the entire city, which is not cool at all. It's pretty shit actually. His boss is alright. Surprisingly more tricky than I was expecting, especially with those holograms that will fuck you up if you touch them. It might take you a couple of attempts, but it isn't too hard. Honestly, I'm pretty surprised most of the bosses in the game aren't that difficult. Not long after you leave Crew to die in a massive explosion, the metalheads invade the city and all hell starts breaking loose. Core is revealed to be none other than the notorious metalhead leader. This is where the cutscene where his face is missing its texture would have played, by the way.
Jak! It's the metalhead leader!
Now you see. Without the shield wall disrupting my...
He's one proper ugly fucking thing. Anyway, we best head to the metalhead nest so we can give this fella a proper smack. A pretty easy locale, all things considered. You get to see this one huge metalhead at one point in this area, and he's pretty fucking cool looking. After we give the metalhead nest a good knock by blasting the fucking nest apart, we confront Core. Jak discovers some pretty paradoxy shit that I honestly don't want to give away here, but if you've been paying attention, you might know what it is already. But anyway, Core gets super pissed off and final boss ensues. Let's go, boys. This one you're a good bit more involved in than the first game's one. He initially just stays up on the ceiling, but eventually he comes on down and you fight him on the ground. Oh, and something weird happens. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's another fault of the PS4 re-release. Man, for anyone who played the game first on this version, I really hope they were able to tell. I'd say they were.
Other than that though, the boss is pretty good. I do wish it was a bit more epic. Jak I and especially Jak III have way bigger set pieces for their final showdowns, and Jak II's is just a bit more lacking in comparison. The more combat orientated gunplay does make for a better fight though, in my opinion anyway. Once you finally beat him, Jak accepts that the future is now his new gaff and him and his friends stay, hoping to also repair the city. Which they should probably do because they were little rascals during this whole game. They celebrate with a lovely sesh while looking at fireworks. As Samo says to Jak, the future awaits. Jak also says that he's done with adventures. Haha, bullshit.
So yeah, that's Jak II for you. I know I glossed over several of the missions. I only pretty much covered 1/3 of them. Why? Well, for one, I didn't feel like it. And also, did you guys see the length of the first game's video? Yeah, I'm not doing that shit again. For now.
This is honestly one of my favourite sequels of all time, and this is easily my favourite Jak and Daxter game. Spoiler alert. It's not flawless, sure fuck me, it's got some extremely flawed mission design for that matter, especially when it came to the checkpoints and the severe difficulty spikes. Something Naughty Dog did try and address in Jak III, to an extent that they kinda overdid it, but that's for another time.
If you ever did skip the Jak and Daxter sequels because of how different they are tonally, give them a chance. I really would recommend you give them the chance. I know they look quite different, but when you really look back at it, it genuinely feels like a proper sequel. This is my favourite Naughty Dog sequel with a 2 at the end, and mind you, I love these other 2 games right here. I love them so much so I would honestly also put these 2 games as some of my all-time favourites. So, give it a go, why don't you?
Anyway, thanks for watching, and have a good— oh shit, and like and subscribe. I should have said that at the start.